Welcome to Hex Rated.
I am one half of your hosting team, Ryan Whedon.
And I'm the other half of your hosting team, Matthew Fisher.
Guess what, folks? We're talking movies.
That is what we're here to do today.
Not just any movies.
But spectacular movies this month.
It's October horror! Here at Hex Rated.
Work in progress.
Check back next week.
Before we get started on movies this week,
Mm-hmm.
I have a question that I feel like you are uniquely suited to answer.
Oh, okay.
When was the last American dance craze? When has there been a Macarena?
You mean since the Macarena?
Yeah.
Dang, that was going to be my answer.
Because that dance is like 21 years old now.
Oh, geez, you're right.
Yeah.
Maybe we just don't have dance crazes anymore.
Like the whip and the nay-nay. But,
Right.
no one's really going to the club and whipping out the whip.
Right, you don't see a lot of, grandmothers doing that, or, people at the Democratic National Convention doing it.
Just Hillary on Ellen.
Yeah. Well, now I wonder why you're asking me. Are you saying we should try and start one?
I'm just... Maybe this is part of the degradation of the social fabric, is that we have no unifying sense of movement together.
Something to make us all look like assholes at the same time?
Despite our political differences, we all, can join in the joy of movement.
Yeah.
The ties that bind. It overlooks ideology.
Just like when the electric slide comes on and at a wedding you're next to your aunt as well as a I don't know, how old are kids when they walk? 6-year-old, we'll say.
We're not parents here at X-Rated.
Shuffling along. I could see that.
But I mean, even just styles of dance, like you can say like hustle or electric slide, like during the disco era, but there was still disco, like that
Right.
was a style of dancing.
Right.
And even now, like clubs, it's mostly just people jumping up and down, moving their arms around. But you were in a dance band.
I was in a dance band. None of my songs seemed to get everybody moving in the same motions, though. Perhaps if it had gone on longer, we could have come up with that next dance craze.
Okay.
In an alternate universe, I assume that's what's happening.
At least one of them.
Yeah. The Lollipop-a-Dong-Ding. Possibly.
Took the nation by storm.
Yeah. The president, love the Lollipop-a-Dong-Ding.
In this
Best dance craze we've had, period.
in this alternate universe, Trump is still president.
Yeah, damn it.
It's not a President Kucinich or something.
I don't have a Kucinich impression in me. I'm sorry. Let's say he's not president, but he's still a mouthpiece.
He's a judge on American Idol, which
Yeah.
he should be.
Extremely liberal in this one.
Yeah, he's a judge on So You Think You Can Dance.
Yeah.
That's everyone doing the Lollipop-Dong-Ding.
We really need to get more funding for the arts. The arts are what makes our country great. No need to make it great again. Let's make it great in the future. Lollipop-a-Dong-Ding is a great way to start.
See, I'm glad I asked you.
Matt, I have a question for you.
Oh.
Did you watch anything on this week?
Yes. I binge watched the entire new season of BoJack Horseman.
Oh, okay.
Or, as some people are calling it, the Sad Horse Show. Because, really, it's sort of a comedy the way that, Louis C.K. show Louis is a comedy, and that it's not. It's just finding a not completely sad way to talk about loneliness and isolation.
Uh-huh. I watched season 1 and really liked it. I don't know why I didn't stick with it.
Season 4 is by far the darkest season. It feels like an off-season a little bit, because most of the characters have just completely separate storylines that don't really intertwine, and it's super sad.
Oh God.
But yeah, I'm loving it. And then I also watched the Tobe Hooper movie Spontaneous Combustion with Brad Dourif.
What's that about?
It's basically a Cronenberg movie from like that time period. Like it's shamelessly indebted to like Scanners and The Fly and things like that.
Okay.
Brad Dourif's parents worked like as nuclear scientists on like a test base, and so like he's raised with like a secret power that he doesn't know about.
Okay.
And then some girl who like pretends to like fall in love with him starts giving him like naturopathic medicine.
Is this an argument for or against naturopathic medicine?
Well, it wasn't actually naturopathic medicine.
Oh.
Like, it was nuclear chemicals in pill form or something.
Okay.
I don't know. I didn't pay that much attention. But it had Brad Dourif in it, so it couldn't be all bad.
Yeah.
It does reinforce my belief that Tobe Hooper was not a very good director, though.
Yeah.
What about you? Did you watch anything?
I got around to watching A Separation. Which, you know, I don't know how to sell this movie to people. Like, hey, do you want to watch a morally gray movie about the court systems in Iran?
I do.
It's 2 hours.
Academy Award Best Picture winner.
Yeah, it was super good, though. It's a movie that the story is twisty and great and makes you feel you're constantly wincing because it's like there's no good or bad characters here. It's so gray area, and like it kind of it's another one of those movies that like you can expand it out to just culture in general. It's just like who's right anymore. There's just no black and white, and it actually is kind of interesting to see how the Iranian court system works. And it was nice to just see, and I hate to say this, but it's really easy to kind of other Muslim people, especially women, because of the way they dress. It's really easy to be like, oh, they must live this crazy, weird lifestyle. It was really great to just see them like using a dishwasher and like, just like taking out the trash, stuff that you do every day. You know? It's like their lives are not that different from ours. Yeah. Because we do get inundated a lot with stereotypes. I liked it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I saw that one in theaters. I really enjoyed it.
Tits worth checking out.
Tits.
Oh, and I hate to say this, but the main dad guy, is kind of hot.
I seem to recall that as well, yeah.
It was a little distracting at moments. But hey, if that's what gets you to watch it, there you go.
Speaking of hot guys, in today's movie, a little film called Bad Moon from 1987? Six.
Close.
God, I thought the uncle was hot.
Yeah. We get to see a butt shot.
And it made
in the first 5 minutes.
Well, so we'll get to the opening scene, but I want to know why there's not a sex move called the hot uncle. I feel like that's just asking for one.
What would it be?
Oh, I mean, I'm not quite sure. Mostly because, I mean, sex act rarely reflects what's happening. Mm-hmm. You know, Hot Carl, Cleveland Steamer. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I mean, Rusty Trombone, I can see the illustration of it.
Uh-huh. Like the Eiffel Tower situation. Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Well, I don't know. Maybe some listeners can chime in on that.
Yeah.
What is a hot uncle? In the sex move category. But yeah, I actually wrote down as one of my notes that, I see why Matt wanted to watch this movie. Because, there's a sex scene in the first 2 minutes.
So, the opening scene is just pure, straightforward horror movie. It's like 4 minutes long, if it's like a minute. Like, it's out in the jungle. You got the hot guy, his hot research assistant, you know, two absurdly attractive people who also, like, are working on a grant in the jungles of wherever. We don't even know.
Yeah, for some reason I thought they were making a movie. I wasn't really paying attention too much at the beginning.
And you're just like, these people look more like actors than scientists.
Anyway.
So we get a little bit of research talk, and then they're like, oh, well, it's time for bed.
Yeah. I was like...
This has been such a wonderful adventure.
You made it wonderful.
And then they, like, tongue kiss.
In front of the natives.
Yes, they're just like, ah. It's like, this called for a peck on the lips. This did not call for what they're doing.
They go into their tent, which isn't that far from, like, their crew. Like, certainly within earshot, but, like, if the light from the campfire caught it right, I'm sure you could get the silhouette. So we got, like, 5 lines of dialogue before, like, a breast is coming out.
Yep.
So we're getting a little bit of nipple. Got some man chest.
Mm-hmm. We did see... I saw some scrotum. I went back and paused it to make
frame
sure.
by frame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Before, sure enough, something comes up, rips open the tent, lifts the woman out, and starts ripping her all up.
Oh, yeah. She gets destroyed.
He gets clawed across the chest, and he crawls out of his tent, and you get the nice sort of butt curvature there.
Mm-hmm. That's when I wrote down, I see why you want to watch this.
Because they get a little booty shot in the first 3-4 minutes.
I'm not complaining.
To where he gets his shotgun, his rifle, his whatever it is, his double barrel. And it has one of my favorite scenes in any horror movie is just the werewolf who's like, you know, ripping the girl apart, and he just like smashes her down. It's like he's dunking a basketball into a hoop that's like 3 feet tall.
Yeah. Like one of those plastic ones when you're playing with children.
Yeah, you're just like,
ugh! Yeah.
But Hot Uncle gets that shotgun, aims at the werewolf's head, pulls the trigger, kaboom!
That head goes flying.
It's a scanners right there.
Yeah, just whoosh.
Just the cephalic carnage. Just unstoppable. And then credits.
Yeah.
Like opening credits.
Like, oh, here we go. Pretty good start.
Yeah, just pure... I mean, that's how you think of, like, horror movies. Like, you know, you get that bit of action before it fades to credits.
Yeah.
And it was good stuff. Like, it gets you right on board, shows you what movie you're about to watch.
But yeah, then we get this beautiful helicopter shot of the Pacific Northwest.
Is it the Pacific Northwest?
Well, yeah, somewhere in
I assumed it was
Washington.
Maine or something.
No, they said, like, Seattle at one point.
They did. They said when Hot Uncle's making an excuse for where his girlfriend is, he said that
right, she's in Seattle.
She went to Seattle.
And there were other cues. There was some other cue where I know it's like it was a Pacific Northwest thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think there's something about this that always just reminds me of like a Stephen King type movie.
Oh yeah.
And those always take place in Derry, Maine.
Yeah.
So maybe I just made that equation that this was somewhere in Maine.
There's other things that read like the Eddie Bauer wardrobe of everybody, which was big in the 90s.
Yeah, the 90s were not a heady time for horror movies. Like, we had the Scream franchise.
Yeah.
So, you know, 2 goods and a dud. But really, other than that, like, the 90s didn't produce a lot of quality horror.
Yeah, I'm struggling to think of some.
Now, the 90s is when, like, where, like, horror franchises came to die.
Yeah.
Not many were born, and then, like, all the ones that came out in, like, the 70s and 80s, like, stopped, like, hard stop at the 90s.
Yeah. I think Gen X ruined that with their irony. That's who I'm going to blame for that.
There was just sort of a vacuum in the 90s where all the 80s franchises and slasher flicks were dying out, going out of fashion, and then it was before we started seeing all these remakes and just, like, yeah, reappropriations and reboots and things like that.
And the only successful ones were the ones that were kind of like tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah, like Scream had the whole meta thing going for it, but yeah, there wasn't too many film franchises, like horror film franchises in the 90s that came out, and there just wasn't that many great horror movies, which I guess would explain why there wasn't many great franchises. If the first one was a dud, then they're not going to make a sequel.
Yeah.
But we do have this little gem.
Yeah, so Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
We have Mariel Hemingway living alone. She's a single mother.
I like how they don't make a big deal about her. Like, they don't say, like, oh, well, if we ever talk to your father again, or something like that. Like, there's no...
Yeah.
It's like, she's raising the kid by herself, and she's doing fine.
Yeah. She took him away from Chicago because Chicago's dangerous.
Yeah.
And it's better for him to grow up in the woods of Washington.
You know, there's no... There's not this, like, oh, balancing work-life thing. Like, she's like, no, out here my workload's lighter.
Yeah. I think Hot Uncle even says that one time. He's like, you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
You're a full-time mom to Brett, and you still manage to work at the firm full-time. It's just great.
But she has a child, by the way, kid from Rushmore, Mason Gamble.
Oh, I thought he was the kid from Dennis the Menace.
Same person.
You're supposed to be his friend.
Look, Dirk, I am his friend.
Oh, yeah, and with friends like you, who needs friends?
Whatever happened to Mariel Hemingway? Like, she was the first 17-year-old that Woody Allen professed his love to. Certainly not the last.
She is related to Ernest Hemingway in some way, right? Granddaughter? I want to say granddaughter. Anyway, very strong face. Maybe not the strongest actress, but serviceable.
I was going to say, I've definitely seen worse actresses make it further in Hollywood. And, you know, she was good in Manhattan.
Yeah, absolutely.
The jailbait. And, yeah, after that, she just kind of... I don't know what happened to her. Like, I can't think of too many movies other than...
I think she did some TV stuff. I know my dad had a big crush on her.
Oh, okay.
And my parents might have rented this movie to watch because Mariel Hemingway was in it.
Okay. I remember my stepdad always had a crush on Mimi Rogers. He would always watch Mimi Rogers movies because he had a big thing for her.
Okay.
The general premise here is we have Mariel Hemingway and child, her brother, Hot Uncle, and they're in the secluded Pacific Northwest area, unnamed secluded town. I mean, it's really just the house. We don't see a town proper.
Yeah, it says it's outside of Timberline, wherever that is.
And
they have a dog.
Thor.
He's a big old German Shepherd.
And that's really the extent of the cast. We got Flopsy, who shows up after the opening credits.
But you just know he's going to die at some point.
Flopsy comes up, and he just looks like a scoundrel.
Yeah.
Like, you can just see Moocher all over him.
Written all over his face.
Comes up, the kid's playing with Thor, the dog, and Flopsy intentionally provokes Thor, this giant German Shepherd.
Yeah.
And Thor goes after him, and, you know, he threatens to sue, and, you know, the family's going to have to pay, or he's going to make him put the dog down. And then Mariel Hemingway pulls out her business card, and she's like, you can just talk to me, because I'm a lawyer.
I'm suing. You better get a hold of a lawyer right away, lady, because you're going to hear from mine toot sweet. Oh.
You can talk to me. I'm a lawyer.
Boom! In your face!
And it's one of the, it's such bad writing. Like, the whole lead-up scene, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, it's actually kind of satisfying.
Yeah. It's clunky character development.
Oh, yeah,
but
it's the worst.
it's fine. There's worse offenses in the writing department on this one.
Which is weird because this is adapted from a book.
Yeah.
Called Thor, named after the dog.
Right.
Written for the screen by Eric Red, the director. Mm-hmm. I want to know what that book is like.
Well, I read the Wikipedia page, and apparently the whole book takes place from the dog's perspective.
Oh.
And there's a bigger family in the book. There's actually a husband, wife, and like 3 kids or something.
Okay.
And the Thor feels like that's his pack.
Oh, okay.
So then when the Hot Uncle comes into the picture, he's kind of conflicted. Because it's like he can tell he's family, but also a interloper? Something else. Like he doesn't know where his loyalties lie.
Okay.
Exactly. And on the Wikipedia page, while it's describing this, the last sentence is, the subtleties mainly did not make it into the film. These subtleties did not make it in the film. It's like, yeah, no, they didn't. Because that sounds kind of cool. But,
yeah, that does sound kind of cool.
But we do get a lot of the dog's perspective.
Yes.
In this movie.
We definitely do.
And that's a plus. Because it's pretty cool to think of, like, what would a dog think of a werewolf? You know?
Yeah. And because the dog Thor is the first to discover that the uncle is a werewolf.
Right.
The uncle, who they address it in the movie that it doesn't have to be a full moon. It can just be really any moon that elicits, werewolfism.
Which makes me wonder why they called it Bad Moon.
But whenever the werewolf in him is going to come out, the uncle chains himself to like a tree,
right,
so that he doesn't cause any havoc.
Because he's already killed like 12 people.
Yes, yeah, he killed. Well, yeah, he killed some hikers.
Yeah, and the lumberjack. So he obviously becomes a werewolf from that first opening scene.
Yeah.
Moves back to the Pac Northwest, tries to seclude himself so he doesn't hurt anybody, but it ends up like, well, I'm a werewolf, I'm going to seek out people anyway. And he's a werewolf who changes every night, because it doesn't matter what the moon looks like.
In stark contrast to what I learned from the Thriller video.
Yeah, so eventually he moves his Airstream to his sister's place and chains himself up every night.
Yes.
So he doesn't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
Because he's definitely hurting people, and the cops are like, "There's some big animals out here eating people up. Curfew's in effect." By the way, did you get the impression that Mariel Hemingway and Hot Uncle were like kind of flirting?
No.
I don't know if it's a Game of Thrones effect or something, but it was definitely... I don't know. I felt kind of grossed out.
Don't tell me that's the Hot Uncle.
It just felt icky sometimes. Like, their friendship, their siblingness felt a little more like flirty than
so
friendly.
A mark in the bad writing department would definitely be that they did not come across as siblings.
Yeah.
Like, they came across more as, maybe former lovers than actually siblings.
And especially when, like, it opens with him losing a girl.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, and then we're introduced to Mariel Hemingway. We're so trained as audiences to think, like, oh, will they or won't they? But that it's, like, the family taboo isn't enough to, like, make that not feel that way, I mean, maybe this is just that I've seen, this repeatedly at this point. But I did not get that. Okay. Well, my first watch those was kind of like, ugh.
I don't know. When I think of siblings on screen, I kind of think of rivalry or a more acrimonious relationship, or at least one that is sort of built on, nitpicking and poking and sort of getting a rise out of the other one. Whereas this, it was so friendly and so cordial that, But I guess the implication was also that Hot Uncle had hit hard times. Mariel Hemingway probably was thinking that, like, his, lady friend left him, and he's been despondent ever since.
Right.
But, yeah. I can see how you can confuse basic human decency with lust. So...
I do it all the time. So... Anyway, that could have just been me. I was going to put this in the con column, but maybe it really did help that they kept, like, referring to each other as brother and sister. Like... there's the scene where they're going to go see him for the first time, and little kid's like,
I thought Uncle Ted was in another country.
So did I. He's been back 3 months and he didn't even call me. That flaky brother of mine.
It's like, okay, we get it, guys. And then he kept calling her sis for, like, the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe, like, let's tone down the incest vibes.
There is sort of a tonal conflict that I have with Hot Uncle, because it seems like he doesn't... At first it seems like, the werewolf thing is a curse on him. But then there's also parts where he seems to enjoy it. That he's sort of happy, or, like, maybe, like, addicted to the power. Like, when he's explaining, he's like, oh, in my experience, it doesn't have to be a full moon. You almost see that there's sort of a wry, sort of, or sly pleasure with this.
Yeah. And then, like, when he pees on the doghouse, you can see he's kind of enjoying that part.
Yeah, exactly. But then it goes back to where, because when he initially is talking to Mariel, like, can I come stay with you for a while? Like, he's in tears about, like, what he's done, because, like, the implication is he's just killed some people and the police are looking for him.
Yeah.
So there's a little back and forth on that where, it seems like part of him is sort of addicted to, like, the power or, like, the adrenaline of being a werewolf. And then he has the other side where he's conflicted and, it seems like it's a burden on him and he doesn't want this.
I kind of chalk that up to he eventually starts to give over more to it.
That's sort of what I did too.
Like, it
I don't know if
kinda
it's
seemed-
played through
Yeah,
that
maybe
super
not.
smoothly, but
But yeah, I can see what you mean. Like, it's not a consistent through line. So basically it's just like a slow ramp up of, like, when's he going to kill the family?
yeah, sure.
Like, it's...
Yeah, there's no mystery like there is usually with like a werewolf movie or something like that. It's not like who's the werewolf or something like that. Like we all know
immediately.
Yeah, right away. And it's just sort of how he's maneuvering like through the family dynamic with this happening,
Yeah.
several times over the course of his stay with the family.
And they don't even bother to, like, hide the actual wolf. You
No.
know? We see it in the first scene.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
You know? And then it's well lit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
for the
it's-
rest of the movie.
They don't put the werewolf like in endless shadows or behind bushes.
Yeah.
It's the view of it's not obscure, and it's classic old style like animatronics and makeup. Like it's not. There's a CG transformation scene,
Right, which is... Woof.
Yeah, well, it's 96. But for the most part, it's all practical analog werewolf stuff.
Yeah.
Which is great. I love that.
Yeah, I thought it looked great. I went back and forth on whether or not it was scary, though.
It's sometimes hard for me to judge what's scary because I don't think like anything's ever scary.
Yeah. It looked good, though.
Yeah.
It looked, like, really cool.
Yeah.
And because there was definitely a person in there moving, but then, like, the head was animatronic.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. And I really liked how the werewolf looked and moved, and it did all sorts of good stuff. Really, the best actor in the movie is Thor. I didn't write down his name, but the dog's actual name is like Stinky the Mutt. I mean, the dog character is Thor, but yeah, it's something real stupid like Stinky.
Did you know that
dog.
before going into watching it this time around? I was gonna say it's gonna be hard to watch it now without thinking like of the trainer off to the side being like Stinky, attack.
I mean, as you'll know from my love of monkey shines, I'm a big fan of animal actors,
Absolutely,
especially
yeah.
in horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
And this dog just brings it, man.
Yeah.
So the idea is that Flopsy goes missing, or he doesn't go missing. He turns up murdered.
Right, because he comes to kill the dog.
Yeah,
he shows up with a big meat cleaver. Like no one makes fun of Flopsy, you see, and ends up running into our
the titular werewolf. Shows up. I love it. Flopsy turns around and goes, "What?"
Nice doggy.
Just great slack job. Like,
wipes his eyes. Oh, blink, blink, blink.
it's full on like Wile E. Coyote when he sees that thing. Just eyes bug out and become super big.
I was hoping for a little bit gorier death for him, but
Didn't he have his throat slashed?
yeah, but I was hoping it was more going to get like ripped out or something.
Yeah.
But still fine.
Yeah. So he ends up dead, and the local authorities feel that it was the big German Shepherd. That ripped
Possibly
him.
Thor.
Yeah. And because the last time anyone had seen him, it was when he was making a big deal that Thor had attacked him. So
Right.
Thor is,
Provoked into attacking Hot Uncle.
in werewolf phase. And so Thor shows up and he's all cut and bloody and stuff like
Right.
that. And Hemingway has him taken away by Animal Services.
Yeah, and actually, that scene surprised me that you chose this movie because you're on record as saying you don't like animals being tortured on film.
Yeah.
Or just, like,
But I mean,
in bad situations like that.
Thor wasn't being tortured.
You're right. I mean, but, like...
He was taken away by animal control. And it's sad. Like, they linger on that scene.
No, it was hard to watch.
Thor is trying to, like, come back and, like, be with the family while they're, like, dragging him away with, like, the
Those
neck
noose
harness.
poles.
Yeah. And it's really sad. It's also
sad.
because we also have seen parts of the story from Thor's point of view.
Yeah.
So we have, like, a greater perspective than the family. Like, we know that he's in the wrong here and that he was only trying to protect the family from the werewolf.
Right.
So he's being taken away for essentially trying to save everyone. You know, but for me, it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, it gets my emotions running high and like, otherwise not very good movie. Like, it really, like, tugs at my heartstrings. I'm like, oh, the noble animal's being taken away.
It's really sad. I wish this movie would have really done more of the dog perspective.
Yeah.
Like the book does. Because, I mean, really, I'm not really super focused on the humans. I really am focused on Thor. So the scene, she takes him and puts him in a room while she calls the authorities.
Yeah.
I wish we could have had, like, a little bit longer of the wait period with him in that room. We get a little bit of it, but it, like, almost immediately, it's almost like gets in the room and then you see, like, a clock spin and then it's like the door opens. But it really would have been great to just see Thor waiting for a long period of time in that room.
I have to disagree with you there. You want to see a dog just sitting? Do you want him, like, reading the paper and, like, smoking a pipe?
Scrolling through his...
Going through the Count of Monte Cristo? How can I break out of here?
Yeah.
Him watching the Great Escape on some television that was in the laundry room.
Like, have
Which
a
is
horrible...
how I am when I see Steve McQueen on television.
Could have, like, a horrible paw that's holding a pencil, like, taking notes.
They open up the door and he's got a leather jacket and he's on a motorcycle and he's trying to jump over a fence.
Sunglasses. Now we're talking.
Now we got a movie.
No, but it is really sad. That is a sad thing.
Yeah.
So I was surprised to see you choosing a movie with that in it.
No dogs died in this movie.
That's true. But then he like gets attacked and I don't know.
I mean, that I can play up because I know that the dog's not actually being attacked. But let's say we're talking about, what's that awful Bong Joon-ho movie?
Barking Dogs Don't Bite?
Yeah, where, like, the opening scene is, like, that dog being strangled. Like, I know it's fake. Like, I obviously know the dog, like, didn't die on the rope there. But it's like a guy is purposely, like, hanging a dog so that it dies. Like, that's a different sentiment than, like, this dog that's, like, trying to protect its family gets, like, beaten up a little bit, you know? I can watch Cujo. Like, I'm not, like, overwhelmed by, like, the St. Bernard there, mostly because it's the villain, but...
What about the dog strangling scene in Prisoners? Did you have a problem with that?
I don't remember that part for whatever reason.
I had problems with that.
I get a little icky in Halloween when Michael Myers kills the dog.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man, animal stuff really bugs me.
Yeah, that's animal stuff and really, like, cruelly obnoxious teenagers. When I see those two things in movies, for some reason, like, it takes me out of the movie. Like, I can no longer... Like, I watch all sorts of horror movies with, like, blood and gore and violence.
Yeah.
And, like, that, I just see it as a movie. Like, I see an extension as this, like, fantasy world that the, you know, crew has created for me. Mm-hmm. But, like, when, like, an animal dies, you know, unjustly, like, for some reason that's different than, like, if a human dies unjustly.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it, like, takes me out and I'm no longer enjoying it. So, I don't know, all the dog-related stuff still falls well inside, like, the confines of me suspending my disbelief for the movie.
Okay.
You know.
I didn't read the credits, but I'm sure there's the little, like...
There is. No animals were harmed.
No more animals were harmed.
Yeah,
Great.
I wired for it. Yeah, I saw it.
Okay, great. Anyway, kid...
Dennis the Menace.
Dennis the Menace plans a jailbreak.
Yeah. Pretty scrappy kid.
Yeah.
Jumps off his roof.
How great would it have been if they played Jailbreak during that by
Thin Lizzy?
Yes. Probably couldn't get the rights.
I think the Great Escape theme, a little whistle that they played during Maggie's escape from the tyrannical daycare center.
What's the quote where it's like,
Mrs. Simpson, do you know what a baby's saying when she reaches for a bottle? Baba? She's saying, I am a leech.
Oh, John Lovitz.
That's right, he's the voice.
Whatever happened to that guy?
I love that guy. Yeah, give him some work.
Quentin Tarantino got the next career for you to, revamp.
So yeah, there's a jailbreak.
Yeah. Dennis the Menace gets the dog out. But really, like, the dog kind of, like, after he's, like, let out of the cell, he gets himself out of the jail.
Yeah. Do we get a shot? Do we get a scene of Dennis the Menace escaping that?
No. Nope. I mean, he got in. He can get out.
Yeah, he just climbed over the fence. I guess the dog can't really climb over the fence.
Yeah. So, you know, there's some suspiciously placed cars and dumpsters that help the dog get out, but...
Also, that was a stressful scene when Thor's running down the street and the cars, like, had to swerve to miss him.
Yeah.
That's some stunt work. That's a stunt dog.
I was thinking, while watching this, that I was like, if I was the director, I'd be like, listen, crew, I value this dog's safety more than any of you.
Yeah. I remember thinking, they probably filmed this scene last, just in case the dog gets run over. Because then they could still make the movie.
If anything that happens to this dog, I will do to you personally.
Maybe it was actually, like, filmed at, like, a slower speed. They're actually only going, like, 5 miles an hour.
And they Benny Hill it.
And then now they sped it up.
That'd be good dog acting, because he was, like, still extending himself for the run.
Stinky the Mutt. Top notch. You want a dog actor? You get Stinky the Mutt. That's how you make a dog movie. Did you see that car scene in Bad Moon? It's amazing.
Did I? After the jailbreak, we are treated to what I feel is the finest dog-on-werewolf battle scene that has ever graced cinema.
I can't disagree with you.
We got Hot Uncle in werewolf mode, terrorizing just Muriel Hemingway at this point.
Right.
She pulls out her Almodovar's Gazpacho, her little revolver that she kept high in the kitchen. Hasn't really been introduced until the third act, but we see it when, like, shit's about to get real, and then she, you know, loads it up. And yeah, there's, like, a little standoff with, like, her and the werewolf. Shoots him a bunch, and then, like all revolvers, runs out of ammo.
The reason she shoots him is because he starts strangling Dennis the Menace.
Yeah.
And she really, like, goes for it.
Get the fuck off my side!
Like, wow. Good job.
Yeah.
It was very intense.
But a battle ensues between the werewolf and Thor, and I mean, I don't know how they did it, but they did some great stunt work with that dog.
Yeah, it really looks like the dog is getting beat up.
Yeah, like, it looks like a full, large German Shepherd is being thrown across the room. Like, at one point, like, the werewolf throws him and he hits the lighting fixture on the ceiling.
Yeah, I saw that. That's crazy.
And it looks very convincing. Like, this is a scene that could have gone awry in so many ways. This is definitely one of those scenes in, like, horror and science fiction that, like, would just be ripe to look shitty.
Yeah.
Like, top to
it's
bottom.
Just like a stuffed German Shepherd being tossed.
Yeah. By some dude in a hairsuit.
Yeah.
Like,
hitting the light and then it breaking after the dog has fallen down. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just a lot that could have gone wrong, but when you watch it, they really pulled it together for this scene. So it's one of those things that, like, all the faults of, like, screenwriting or other things that happened previously, like, suddenly it's erased because we have this, like, very exciting scene where it really looks like a German Shepherd's being beaten up and, like, holding its own against a werewolf, like, protecting its pack, its family.
Yeah.
Sort of culminating in, you know, the dog who you think is down and out gets up and hits the werewolf, and they fall out through the window,
right,
off the roof and onto the ground. And yeah, it really comes across as just being very skillfully pulled off.
I'm thinking about this. Are there other movies where, like, the werewolf kill scene happens in, like, a person's home? Like, I can't remember that happening before.
Let's see. I mean, my werewolf knowledge is limited. Mm-hmm. You know, the Lon Chaney Jr. one, he's definitely, like, out in the woods.
That's what I'm imagining for most of the movies I've seen.
I don't remember how Michael J. Fox died at the end of Teen Wolf.
Wait a minute, are you going to tell me you're a fag? I mean, if you're going to tell me you're a fag, I don't think I can handle it. I'm not a fag. I'm werewolf.
I don't think I've seen Teen Wolf since I was 10 or 11 or something like that. I think I was still too young to be offended by that.
Oh yeah, me too.
If Michael J. Fox said that now, I would not be pleased.
Well, what about the scene in this movie when Meryl Hemingway is yelling at Dennis the Menace for being a faggot and not taking out the trash?
Yeah, it was an odd turn for a mother to yell that at her son, but, you know.
Those were the times! I mean...
It was really the earnest part of her heritage coming out. That's why when she shot the uncle and he died, and she was like, the sun also rises.
God, what if she did that? What if that was her thing?
Every movie she kills someone and then makes an Ernest Hemingway reference?
Yeah.
Whew. Boy, I don't know.
Go back to the sea, old man. Anyway, she gets the carpenters over to fix the window like stat the next day. They're fixing the window. She got him off of Angie's list. They were like, prompt. She gave him a good review. And then she goes to go pet Thor, and Thor turns into a werewolf. Not! It's a dream.
Yes. Wakes up out of a stupor. Thor, Dennis the Menace come hug her. I think it's a solid final scare, though, for the movie.
I wasn't expecting it.
The little Cronenbergian monster dog.
I forgot Thor ends up killing Wolfman.
Yes.
Like, the sun comes up and he turns back into human. He's all beat up from falling out of the second-story window. And Thor's there and he's like, oh, just kill me. And Thor does.
Yes.
Awesome. But then, yeah, there's the final scare, and that's kind of it.
There is a scene that I find questionable. Mariel Hemingway's going through his stuff in the Airstream while he's out and about someplace. I don't know if they mention it. And she sees pictures of his old girlfriend. And one of the pictures is like her all ripped up and dead. I'm like, why do you have this photo?
You took that.
Yeah, it's not like the werewolf took it and sent it to you. Like, she died, you took a Polaroid, and then put it with, like, the romantic pictures of you two together.
Okay, so mythology this movie kind of throws werewolf mythology out the window.
Now, where are you drawing your werewolf mythology from? Because as we've already established, this does not subscribe to thriller rules.
I guess just the general, like, silver bullets. Like Dennis the Menace says, silver bullets kill it. Full moon is what makes you change.
Yeah.
And, like, if one bites you, you become a werewolf.
Yeah.
So, like, does he get bit in that first thing? He gets scratched. Okay. And then I think this also begs the question, what happens to a dog that gets bit by a werewolf? Because the dog gets scratched and bit, but nothing happens?
No, I definitely thought about that, too. Because I was like, yeah, at least from what we see in that opening scene, the uncle gets scratched across the chest.
Yeah.
That's really the end of it, you know, as far as the attacks that he gets. Everything else is focused on his, you know, hot piece of research tale. I mean, I think that's the implication there, is that this could happen to Thor.
I guess that's what the final scare is about.
Yeah.
But, it doesn't completely resolve it, though, either, because it's in, like, this still could happen.
Yeah. We
have no idea what the timeline is between transformation and Scratch.
So. Leaves it open for a sequel.
Yeah. Bad Moon 2. I think this movie has problems. It's not a perfect film by any means. No. But I actually liked it. There's a lot of
breezy
pros.
78
I was going to
minutes.
say, the length is great. 78 minutes. It's like, even a shitty movie I can watch for 78 minutes. Like, yeah. And this one isn't. I think it looks beautiful.
Yeah, it's very well produced.
The cinematographer gets an A+ for me. Like, the greens are just
super
brilliant.
Lush,
and
greens.
And the reds, whenever blood shows up, it pops so much. I don't know, there was a real good attention to color in this movie, which I thought was great. I like the idea of telling a werewolf story from the perspective of the dog. Sure. I just wish there was more of it. I know that sounds stupid.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Like, once you sort of mentioned how the book was written, I was like, oh, that kind of sounds better.
Oh, it just needed, like, a little more retooling, and it could have been really great.
Yeah, the movie, when you're looking at it really hard, you can tell that it's low budget, because it's like, it has a very limited cast.
Right.
And then, like, the set, it's like, yeah, we got some exteriors of a big house, but, like, the interiors were probably just, like, leftover sets from, like, Family Ties or something like that.
Totally.
Like, you know, when you're really looking for it, you can tell that the movie didn't have a big budget, but it doesn't feel like a low-budget film.
Right.
The makeup and animatronics are solid. They put their money into cinematography, and it was well-directed. It doesn't feel cheap. It doesn't feel like they cut corners. It's only if you're noticing, like, how small the cast is, that it's like, oh, they purposely kept it small, you know, to save on that so that they could spend it on things like, you know, how it looked.
Yeah. And I think this movie would have really benefited from having a separate writer and director, or at least, like, another person.
Sure.
Another some more eyes on the script. It just needed, like, another couple passes or a few more $1,000 or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it really could have made a difference.
Because I'm stealing this from you, but, like, you were talking about, like, what makes The Room so enjoyable to watch, but, like, say, Troll 2, like, yeah, it's bad, but it's, like, in science fiction and horror, there's so many different things that can go wrong, like, you know, makeup or special effects, or, like, you know, the premise is often, like, more ridiculous and it's easy for it to go off the rails, whereas, like, The Room is drama. So, like, the idea that that's so crazy is even more impressive.
Yeah.
And this is one of those movies, like, there's a lot that really could have gone wrong. There's a lot that could have looked horrible. There's a lot that could have made this movie, like, look and feel stupid, and it doesn't. Like, it really sort of succeeds in taking the resources that they had and making it work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Good on you, Bad Moon.
Bad Moon, you keep on being bad.
You're so bad. So what's coming up next in our Schlocktoberfest?
Well, I want to do something that is... Jeez, I don't even know how to justify this. It's a movie that scares the hell out of me. And it's because I'm claustrophobic. The Descent.
I know specifically which scene you're referring to.
Oh, my hands are sweating just thinking about it. I've seen this movie once.
That's it?
That's it.
Oh, no way. I watch this movie, like, every 2 years. Like, at least every other October.
I haven't been able to bring myself to watch it since that first time.
I saw this movie in theaters, essentially. And you know how earlier I was saying, like, oh, I don't really scare that easily at scary movies? When I saw this in theaters, I was definitely like, this might be too scary for me.
Anyway, we're going to watch it and talk about it.
Yeah.
Should we exit this film and plug our junk?
Let's plug our junk. Subscribe to us on iTunes, and, you know, like and rate and review also helps. It's the best way to get the word out there for the podcast.
Mm-hmm. You can send us tweets. Our handle there is at Hex Rated Movies.
To get the most up-to-date information, like us or follow us on Facebook at Rated X Movies.
Mm-hmm. And if you have ideas about what the hot uncle is, and you're embarrassed to put it on Twitter because, you know, your boss could be following you, we have an email. It's just x.rated.movies@gmail.com. And we'll keep it private. I promise we won't take screenshots and put it on Twitter and be like, hey, so-and-so wrote us.
I'd love to know what a potential hot uncle would be, or could be, or should be. Or will be.
Yeah. Maybe we've already done the hot uncle and we don't know it.
I've been doing sex moves with no name on them. What will I tell my grandchildren?
It's just a big stew of ambiguousness. Anyway, next week, The Descent. Right here on X Rated.